This week on In the Field, location scouting along the beaches of Lagos, Portugal. Hi everyone, my name's Scott Davenport and welcome back to In the Field, this series where I take you behind the scenes on one of my photo shoots, share some of the thought process that goes into it, share some of the experiences, talk about what worked, what didn't work, and the purpose of all this is to grow as photographers. Sharing our experiences with each other helps us all hone our craft. This week I have some footage from a summer visit to Lagos, Portugal. Now, if you ever have the chance to go to Lagos, just go. It is beautiful, people are great, laid back environment, and I just can't say enough nice things about it. For this sunrise shoot that I went out to do, location scouting was important. There's a fair amount that you can do from online and looking at the 3D maps and seeing all these wonderful nooks and caves and things along the coast. But nothing beats getting your feet on the ground and checking everything out, because some places may not be as accessible as they might look from the maps. So that's exactly what I did on my visit there. Let me show you where Lagos is on the maps, and then I'll show you some footage from the shoot. So here's the Iberian Peninsula, Portugal, right over here, and Lagos is right down here on the southern coast. Let's zoom in here. There we go. We should start to see it here. Move over a little bit. So here's the town of Lagos, and this all beach areas, and all along these coasts there's just all sorts of nooks, crannies, crags. And if I zoom in really close here, we should be able to find, here we go, this is the beach. Camillo means camel. There's a big rock formation that looks like a camel. Let me switch over to satellite and we'll go into the 3D mode. And so move up here a little bit, turn. All right, there we go. So these various beaches is where I was set up. There's a huge stairway that comes all the way down here. And for this shoot, the footage you'll see in a moment, the first set of footage I was set up right over here. So rotating around, you're kind of looking at the beach from here, and these rocks you'll see in the footage. And then for the second photo that I did, I moved down one segment of beach and was kind of set up in this area here. Again, shooting at the same place, but here I had a little more beachfront. And well, let me just get over to the footage from the actual shoot so you can see this stuff live. It's my first afternoon in Lagos, Portugal, and it does not disappoint. I've been scoping out this section of beach, which actually even extends around this rock face on the left here, for what I'll shoot tomorrow morning at sunrise. And this little cove is just going to be fantastic. There's a world of opportunities here. I just need to hope for some decent light. So I will be back here again in about 12 hours. It's a beautiful, quiet morning on Praia de Camilo in Lagos, Portugal. Just waiting for the sun to peek over the horizon off here to camera left. And it should light up some of these beautiful sea stacks. I've been at the beach for the last hour or so, fine-tuning the composition, and then now I'm all set and just waiting for the light. Let's take a look at what we have right through the camera. I'm set up at f16 to get the most depth of field that I can here, so these foreground rocks and the background sea stacks will be sharp and in focus. And I'm playing with the ISO and time values right now, exposure times, to make sure I get a nice rich colored sky right now, and did some longer exposures to open up the shadows in these foreground rocks, thinking to put these together in post later. But really what I'm waiting for now is the sun to rise and light up the sides of these cliffs. Finally, the sun is just starting to rise over the horizon here, and hopefully within a couple of minutes it's going to cast its beautiful golden light all over the cove here. I moved one more segment of the cove down just for a couple more shots while the light's still nice. And this first beach you see on the right-hand side, I was kind of in a little nook just to the right of that. Climbed over the rocks and came across this second beach to where I'm standing now. Little tip for you, I walked very carefully behind this foreground rock all the way around the back of this beach here so I didn't spoil the sand with my footprints. So now I've got a nice clean beach for the shot. So having scouted the location ahead of time really made a big difference when I went out the next morning. It was really dark when I got out there for sunrise. I couldn't even start taking footage until about an hour to an hour, 20 minutes after I arrived. There's just nothing would show up on video, and you'd hear me talking to a black screen, which would be pretty boring. Since it was that dark, I would have been stumbling around trying to figure out the right position for the camera or finding a good composition. I'd done all that the day before. So that hour in the dark was much more fine-tune the composition, take some really high ISO long exposures so you can see what you're going to be shooting. It's all grainy and noisy, but compositionally that works fine. You can fine-tune your comp and then fine-tuning the focus. So that's one of the benefits of the Location Scout. A fringe benefit was I actually got a nice keeper shot from the location scouting itself. And I did a blog post about that a bit ago, and I'll include a link here so you can go check that out as well. You also saw in the footage there that I moved down the beach to a secondary location to take some additional shots after the sunrise had come up and the sun was fully above the horizon. That was another benefit of the location scouting. I didn't take any location scouting footage, but I did walk down to that area of the beach the day before and found another spot. And once I was in the sunrise moment, you've only got 15 to 20 minutes of good light. I had to spend less than 5 minutes moving down the beach and setting up for that second shot. And it turned out to be my favorite from the entire outing. The tip of the week, if you couldn't guess it, is to scout your location. Now, I know you don't always have the luxury of doing that, and there is a fair amount that you can do online, and that's a reasonable substitute when you don't have the luxury of getting your feet on the ground and into the actual location you'll be shooting. But if you have that chance, do it. A variety of location scouting can also be your daily routine. Like this for me was a vacation. And another scouting exercise that I did is we're taking a boat tour around the various areas of Lagos. And I'm making mental notes about that area looks nice, this area is accessible, what's that going to look like at dusk or at dawn? And you can use that, your following photo outings. So scout your location in any way possible, the best way being boots on the ground. That's all for this week in the field. Thanks for joining me. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, let me know. Shoot me a like, a +1, comment on it. Share your experiences. It'd be great to hear some photo experiences from you because that's how we're all going to get better at photography, sharing our ideas, sharing what's worked for us, what didn't work for us, and then we can all get better together. Until the next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Bye.